So, cuz, how was your day?
A lot of mixed emotions, but for the most part, it was a good day. So,
Yeah.
like, mixed emotions, but a good day. So far.
Are you hearing
The
the
day
theme?
is still not over.
Are you hearing the theme?
Yes.
Okay, that's your cue to sing along with it.
Okay.
Number 2 podcast, and I'm gonna talk over the intro music cause I'm selfish and I wanna talk about myself to my cousin, and he wants to do this, but I'm not writing any lyrics for the theme song yet. Number
No
2
lyrics. No lyrics. No lyrics.
It doesn't quite fit in with it, but thank you for trying.
No. Oh my gosh, it fit perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
No lyrics.
No lyrics. So how's it going, cuz?
Well, first of all, before we get started, I want to apologize to all of our listeners first because I might cough occasionally and I have a runny nose. So
That's fantastic.
whatever sounds go along with that. I'm sorry.
I can't wait to hear that runny nose, and I can't wait for you to start going.
I just did.
Fantastic.
I am pulling the phone away when I cough because I know how horrible that can sound.
Yes.
And I was listening to another talk show on the radio.
The Howard Stern Show?
No, just another one. And when I hear them cough, like they try to get away from the microphone, but sometimes they don't make it in time.
Right.
I told you before, Coz, that when we do this podcasting,
Yes.
I multitask because I have to, clean and make sure things are in order.
Because you don't care about this idea that you had. You don't care enough about it, or you don't care as much about it as I do.
No, I'm trying to keep it as real as possible. And I think that's how people can relate. Multitasking.
No, because that just means that you're not giving your full attention to the show.
No, it's not. This is where I'm going with this.
All right, go for it.
Last night I couldn't sleep. I couldn't figure it out.
At night I can't sleep. I toss and turn. Candlesticks in the dark means somebody's being burned.
So, fast forward to now, and I'm fixing my bed because we were...
Wait, back up. I just fast forwarded. You said fast forward to now, and I made the fast forward sound. You kept talking.
Okay, fast forward to now, and you did. Okay. I'm fixing my bed.
How'd you break it?
I'm making my bed.
Oh. What? You can't...
whatever. I'm putting the blankets and sheets down.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I didn't fix it yesterday because Luis was off, and I came home and he fixed it. I was like, oh, how cute.
That's
he
nice.
Fixed the bed. Well, now I'm fixing it from yesterday, from last night, and he put the sheets on wrong.
What do you mean he put them on wrong?
Well, he put the top sheet upside down. Like at the bottom, and the bottom was at the front.
Wait, he put the flat sheet on the mattress?
Well, yeah, but on top of the fitted sheet.
I don't get what you're saying.
He got that part. He got that part right.
Okay.
You know how the top sheet has like a thick or a wider border?
Yeah.
For the top, where your pillows and everything go?
Yeah.
The head of the bed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He put it at the foot.
Well, I mean, that's not a huge deal.
It is for me.
Oh, my goodness. Are you serious?
Yeah, but I can't say anything because he'd probably get his feelings hurt.
Well, the way you say things, I'd get my feelings hurt, too.
Because it's a big deal to me.
Yeah, and also because you're really mean.
No, I'm not.
Because I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, but sometimes you can be a real bitch.
I've heard that before. But I'm not trying to be.
From your kids?
I think they want to say that, but they don't.
Have you ever said that about your mom? The day before Mother's Day?
No, I would never say that.
You
Here,
mean you would never admit to that? I don't blame you. I wouldn't admit to that either. I've never said it.
I wouldn't. No, I mean, I would never even thought it. No,
Me
I'm
neither.
for real.
I'm being serious too. I don't know why I even thought of the question.
This is
I know
evil.
why I thought of the question because your kids think you're a bitch.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think
think
they?
so.
Wait, do you really think they think that
Yeah,
all the time or just
because
sometimes?
just when I'm confronting them or
When they see how you treat their father,
I know,
like God,
even
he
though
just
they
got the
have
sheet
some like,
upside.
calm down. He's
It's
just saying whatever.
it's just a
Calm
sheet,
down.
Mom.
Probably. That's probably it. But anyway, we can talk about the bed later.
Okay. No. Go ahead. You started. I don't want to interrupt your story. So you're fixing the bed and you realize that the sheet was upside down.
That's why I couldn't sleep last night.
Oh. Wait. So you
That was
didn't.
the
You
whole
didn't.
point.
But you didn't know it. You could just feel it. You could just tell. Like
I knew something was wrong.
there. There was a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my nose is just so bad. So, anyway, I was telling about today, too. It was a mixed emotional day.
What happened?
Well, Violet made her first communion.
All right. That's a good thing, right?
We're, yes, devout Catholics. And, well, it was kind of mixed emotions because obviously my brother's not there
Right.
to be a part of it. Mentally, he's not there. He could have been there physically, but I don't think he would have been able to mentally, I don't know, I guess,
You
I
don't
don't
think he
know.
could have been on his best behavior while he was there?
Yeah, that's what my mom kind of thought was best.
Well, does he know?
Because the way he's been acting. He did know, and he knew for about a week now that she was doing it. And he had said he did want to go. And then my mom was kind of like prepping him, like, okay, you're going, but if her mom and, her stepdad show up, you cannot, don't stare at them, don't look. Even if he may not be thinking or trying to do anything, he will look or, make someone feel very uncomfortable.
Right.
And, being in church was not the place to be, to do that. So he said no, he wasn't going to go. Let me back up. Let me rewind. Violet ended up staying the night here, so I had to get up like super early and take her to get her hair fixed, and get her dressed. My mom had taken her shoes.
Are you her godmother?
Yes.
Okay.
And
because you're devout Catholic.
Yes. My mom had taken her shoes last week, and so I'm like, Mama, don't forget to bring Violet's shoes. She couldn't find her shoes, so she had to go and buy her new shoes. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to hurry up and get here because I haven't had a chance to get ready. So she gets here, picks up Violet, puts her new shoes on, and takes her. I have time. I'm fixing my hair. I change 10 times. We leave. We get to my mom texts me. She's like, where are you? I'm like, we're about to walk in now. I'm like, we're about 15 minutes early. This is really good.
That's unusual for you.
Yeah. The only problem is we were actually 15 minutes late.
What? That's usual for you.
I thought they told me it started at 10:30, not at 10. So I walked in at 10:15, and all the little kids are already sitting down.
Oh, cuz.
Boy, I looked at this lady, and I was like, they already walked in? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I thought it started at 10:30. She's like, no, it started at 10. I was like,
Oh, because you robbed Violet of her chance to walk in for her first communion.
Well, I don't walk in with them, but I wasn't there. Yeah,
I know.
I know.
Oh, wait, so Violet was already there? Or no?
Violet. My mom had picked up Violet.
Okay. See, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So she got to walk. You just didn't get to see her.
Yes. And, guys, somebody's here. Anyway.
They're like, why didn't you answer the door? Quit being such a bitch. Because you really should let you shouldn't let your kids talk to you that way. Especially the day before Mother's Day.
Anyway, church is really beautiful. Your mom was there.
Your mom was there.
She was too. And Mass was, I don't know, it was just, I felt it was very spiritual. I felt a lot of love and, togetherness.
Good. Yeah. I hear you. Go ahead.
So then it's all over with. Everybody's kind of like taking pictures and whatever. And Mario's there. And I could just see he was like sad.
Yeah.
But he wasn't trying to be. But he couldn't help it. So I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Let me just give a little backstory here. Our Uncle Mario was married to our Aunt Gloria, and they were both really close to Violet. And several months ago, our Aunt Gloria passed away. So now Mario is a widower, and he's at church watching what I'm sure he feels very grandfatherly. Would you agree?
Yes, I would.
So he feels very grandfatherly towards Violet, and he's watching her make her first communion. And his wife, who was also our Aunt Gloria, who was very close to Violet, couldn't be there to share the moment. So he's probably feeling sad about that too, right?
Right. I mean, I felt like, he really couldn't talk. He would say a little bit, but when he would try to speak, his voice would crack, he was ready to cry. So, which made me want to cry, and I can't, hold my emotions in very well, especially when it's, something like that.
Yeah.
So that was, it was good because I felt like, even though we couldn't see her, she was there.
Right. It's so funny because it's so weird. I didn't know that Violet was making her first communion today.
Uh-huh.
Somebody might have mentioned it, but it didn't dawn on me at all. And today, instead of editing the video that I've been working on, I took some time to try and clean up my computer a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I found an old database of photos. And I found some from 2012. It was Danielle's birthday party. Mm-hmm. And Mario and Gloria were dancing. So I was like, oh, man.
Aww.
Yeah, so I sent a couple of those to my mom and your mom. And then I found some other older pictures and a couple more of Gloria.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that was...
Yeah, it's weird.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. So I never got a response from them, but I guess it's because they were at church when I was sending these and didn't realize it. I didn't realize they were at church. But it's just weird that you were thinking about her and I was thinking about her. Well, I stumbled upon these photos that made me think of her.
Yeah. It was, like I said, I knew, we couldn't see Mario, at least where we were sitting. We couldn't see, but I knew he was there because I had seen his truck outside the church. So it was really, I knew it was hard for him because I feel like as much as I think it's easier for him, I guess, maybe easier is a good word, when he's by himself at his house when little Alex and Violet go to visit versus special occasions or, celebrations when he has to be there by himself, and not have her to be a part of it, physically there. So that was very emotional. Oh, and I guess the other part, which, I don't know, I try to keep an open mind, but her mom, Violet's mom, didn't go either.
Why not?
And I don't know, I don't know why she didn't go. At least none of us seen her there.
Did anybody from her family go?
No. But I don't know to what extent, I don't know if Metal told them or didn't tell them. I know my mom, she didn't tell them because she doesn't really talk to them like that.
Right.
Or there wasn't a need for invitations or anything like that. That she did, kept telling Metal. But I don't know if it was maybe because they thought Alex was going to be there too. Because sometimes I think with his nerves, I guess he doesn't know how to really react or act when he gets too nervous.
Who, Alex?
Yeah. Anyway, that was the mixed emotions. Good day. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got the good thing happening that your niece, your goddaughter, is making her first communion today. Mm-hmm. And you got the bad because you were really late for it. And no, that's a joke. And her parents couldn't be there for their very specific reasons.
Uh-huh.
And our uncle was saddened because he couldn't share it with his wife. So yeah, it's mixed emotions. All before the day before Mother's Day.
I know.
And tomorrow when I make my Mother's Day calls, I'm going to call Mario.
Oh yeah.
Because our greeting to each other. Yeah, I don't know how this happened because our greeting to each other has been, for years, has been Happy Mother's Day. So I got to give him a call on Mother's Day.
I think that happened by accident, right? I don't know if it was your birthday or somebody's birthday, and
I don't know. It's been years, but he and Chalo have. When Chalo leaves, he says "Te bañas."
Yeah.
Which is what? Take a bath or take a
bath? Yeah. Kind of like clean yourself.
Yeah, which I don't know how that came about either, but that's like him and Chalo's thing, and mine and Mario's thing is Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Cray. But now, this is totally off.
Go for it.
But, I mean, it has something to do with church, but it's just weird. And I try to go to church, and I don't know if you...
You get a burning feeling in your stomach when you go to church.
I try to keep an open mind and say, I'm not going to let people distract me. Whether it's with their kids crying or their clothes or their...
Good luck, cuz.
Oh my gosh, cuz this lady had on a really cute denim, very thin material dress. It kind of off the shoulder type stuff is in style right now. I don't know if you know that, but
because how dare you? Of course I don't know that.
Well,
by the way, right now I feel so in style now that I know that, because my shirt is completely off my shoulders because I'm not wearing one right now.
Oh God!
Hey, shut up! We don't have video component to this yet.
Well, I know for sure for a lot of women.
So you're in church and you got distracted by this woman's shoulder.
No, not by her shoulder. By her tits.
I'm sorry, by her what?
Her boob. Well, she really didn't have a lot of boobs, but she had nipples. She did not have on a bra.
And she's wearing an off-the-shoulder blouse in church.
Yes, with no bra.
So when you say no bra, how could you tell that she was not wearing a bra?
Because
how do you know it wasn't strapped?
Dark enough to see through the shirt, through her dress. It wasn't like a white shirt where you could see through it, but the material was thin enough and light enough
Because
She
that's
is
horrible.
Hispanic with black hair.
Did you get any pictures?
No,
All right, so she's
but
Hispanic with black hair. How old are we talking about?
she's probably in her 30s.
What's the face look like?
I would say she's doable.
Oh my goodness,
Not for me. Not for me. I would just think for a guy. They'd be like, she's doable.
So she would have been a real distraction to a guy in church.
Yes, she was. Because, listen to this part.
Okay.
I wasn't going to say anything about her boobs or her nipples, but I could see through her shirt because I'm like, I'm not here to be distracted. This lady is crazy. But while we were having lunch after Mass, Alvaro and Andrea start
Your
talking
sister
about
and your
yes,
brother-in-law?
my brother-in-law, start talking about this lady in church that didn't have any underwear on.
No
And
chones?
no, she didn't even have underwear on. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, she's the one that had on the blue dress that went off the shoulders.
Oh my goodness, so she was wearing nothing under that dress?
Nothing.
Wait, how could they tell she wasn't wearing chones?
Apparently, the way she sat or whenever she got up or something, somewhere, Alvaro said I'm quoting, he saw her cat.
He didn't say cat.
Andrea said cat.
Oh.
He said something in Spanish. I couldn't quite understand it. I don't even know what it is to repeat it.
Did it sound like bread? Did it sound like H? Not H.
It's
Eight?
kind of like solo la something, gajo, or maybe he
Gato.
said gato.
Oh. Dang, so this lady was like just wearing a blanket in church.
A sheet,
A sheet, excuse me.
not a blanket. A blanket might keep you warm in cold nights. A sheet is going to show that you're cold.
So was she there for one of the kids making their first communion? I mean, like
I don't know if any of her kids were actually, if they were making a first communion, but she volunteers, and one of her nephews or nieces was making theirs.
Because we're in the middle of May. This is like in Texas, Southeast Texas especially. It starts to get hot and humid. She could have had a sweat streak down that butt crack.
Yeah. She could have. And the thing is, the dress wasn't fitted. It was, I guess, drapey. It was flowy, kind of.
Yeah, I got you.
But the material was so thin that you could, I mean, it was almost like you could see straight through it.
And it was a bright sunny day today?
Yes.
Okay, so when she was outside, you could definitely see through it.
Probably. I didn't see her outside.
I don't know
wasn't
why I
looking
didn't
for
come
her.
visit this weekend.
I mean, because I'm serious, I was sitting in the pew and I did a double take. Like, and then I found myself like staring at her boobs, thinking,
All right, so where were you in comparison to her? Like where were you? Where was she?
Well,
on the same
she
pew?
was
Ahead of you?
No,
Behind you?
she was actually walking pew to pew, guiding or escorting the kids out, like to walk up so that they could receive their communion.
Oh my goodness!
And so when she walked up to us, I wasn't looking at all at her like that. I just wasn't paying attention to her. But when I made it back to the pew and she was on the other side across the pews across from us, and she was starting to, direct those kids to come out and their families. She stood there for a while because you have to let one pew at a time, and you can't, they don't want them standing calling up the aisle.
Right.
So she had, some time to stand there, and I looked over, and the way she was standing, I guess in the lighting, I stared. I was like, oh my gosh, she's not wearing a bra. And I kept looking, like, to make sure that I was seeing nipples, and I was, and boobies that were like down. They weren't even little perky ones. They were little deflated balloons. Yes. It was very distasteful, tacky,
distracting, obviously.
Distracting. The
Well,
list can go on and on.
Because I tell you, I get distracted by like the door creaking in the middle of church. If I had seen this, it would have been game over for me. I would not have heard a single word for the rest of the mass, and I would have felt terrible about it. But I would not. I wouldn't have been able to stop looking.
Have you ever been to Mexican mass?
Yeah.
No, there's okay. It is 100%. I mean, 85% of the mass is distraction.
Like kids running around, the air conditioner not strong enough.
Or noise people, or they have their kids are playing on their phone, or they have a toy, or
they're asking for change from the donation basket.
Right, yes. Or the clothing, the women in the clothing.
Yeah, I'll admit it's been a long time since I've been to a Mexican church, so I probably wasn't aware of some of these distractions when I was there, but definitely some of them. That
was the first that I've never seen nipples to a dress. And I mean, the dress was cute. Her makeup was, on point. She's very thin.
Yeah, because there's no excuse. I am far from prude. I think you would agree with that. But I'll admit I've gotten a little more conservative as I've gotten older. Like this dress, I would love to see this dress. I would love to see this lady wearing this dress. But I would have felt so uncomfortable if I had seen this in church because I would have had such conflicting thoughts. Like I'm there, like this, like I know God sees you everywhere, but like this now at church, I'm aware that God is watching me because I'm in His house. And if I'm looking at something like that in God's house, I would just feel so bad. But just my human nature, my instinct would not allow me to stop looking.
Right? And you're a man. And
Damn right I am.
And I don't have desires to be with a woman. So I was distracted. And if I noticed it and I'll go, claims what he claims that he saw, could you imagine what other people would?
What about the kids? Some of those kids made their first communion and went through puberty today.
Excuse me, I just...
What?
My nose is running like a lot.
All right, why don't you take 2 minutes, go blow your nose?
No, it's gone.
All right.
I swallowed it.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, that's so disgusting. But anyway, could you imagine how many crazy church stories are out there? And it's kind of hard to say what you see at church because you're not there to judge and you're there to praise and.
Oh, because I feel like a lot of people at church are there to judge.
Yeah. Did you see if they put any money in the basket?
He only put $1.
Oh my gosh. He didn't put any, or he makes his own donations outside of his collection time.
Because this is unrelated, but since we're talking about church, I remember one time when I was still living in Kansas, I was at church. Now, this was a long time ago because I haven't been to church since I moved back to Texas, unfortunately. But,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's a different story. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I was at church, and I had gotten there kind of late, so the pews were all filled up. So I had to stand in the back. And as I was standing in the back, my mind started to wander. Again, distraction.
Right.
I ever since I was a kid, I just never could really pay attention, like full attention in Mass. So my mind was wandering, and I was thinking, what would I do if somebody came in here and, tried to shoot up the place? I'm standing in the back. More than likely, they'll just walk forward, and that'll give me, a little bit of an advantage because I can come up behind them if if I have the wherewithal and the courage to do so. I don't know that I can do that. I'm not claiming to be some sort of hero because Lord knows I'm not. But this is when I was in the middle of my jiu-jitsu training and stuff like that. So I had a little more confidence in myself and thought I would be able to defend myself and protect others if necessary. So I'm thinking this, and then I snap out of it. I'm like, what the heck am I thinking? I'm in church right now. Pay attention. Well, later that day, I go home and I hear on the news that a church right down the street, there was a guy who got shot there and killed. I think he was a doctor or something like that, but it was like an anti-abortion thing. Because I swear,
I do remember that.
yeah, it was like less than a mile from the church I was at, and like the scenario, not the exact scenario, but a very similar scenario that was going through my head was happening right down the street while I was at church.
That's crazy.
Or maybe not right while I was at church, but the same day.
Would you say that's like a premonition?
No, I think I have stupid thoughts like that a lot. It just happened to be a coincidence.
That's crazy.
Because
do you call it super thoughts?
Say again?
You refer to them as super thoughts?
No, I said stupid thoughts.
Oh, stupid.
No, but super thoughts sounds awesome.
I thought you
Hey, shh, I'm having a super thought right now. Be quiet. No.
No, like I thought maybe like supernatural.
No, that's a good name.
Super thought.
But unfortunately, that's not what I said. Go ahead.
Okay, so the reason why I was like, oh man, like super thoughts. Because Loopy, my other sister, sometimes we have these thoughts or dreams or whatever of things that we don't know if they're going to happen, or feelings that tell us something something's going to happen or whatever. And I'm going to tell you her most recent one, and hers usually come to her in her dreams. Okay, so Lucy has this dream that she's basically given her condolences to her ex-brother-in-law and her ex-sister-in-law. And she can see people, and she can see her ex-brother-in-law in pain, crying. I say pain, but grief. And he's crying to her, and he's telling her that he knows now what it feels like to truly lose someone that he loved. But she never seen who it was, and she didn't really know who it was. And so she gets up and she goes to work, and she's like, I need to tell Elijah my dream. So she tells Elijah her dream and says, hey, we need to pray for your dad and his family because, I had this dream and blah, blah, blah. Okay. One day later or 2 days later, they go and take Loopy, Elijah, and Cleo and Sailor. They go and they take family pictures. They're leaving the place, and Elijah gets a call from his dad crying that his dad died.
Oh, man.
His brother, the man that was in Loopy's dream, he cannot leave freely and enter the country as he would like to. He could go, but he would not be able to come back. He's possibly not going to be able to attend his father's funeral. And he was the person that Loopy had the dream of.
Because that gave me the chills.
Oh my gosh, is that not like super...
A super thought?
Is that not a super thought or super dream? And I don't mean it like super, like, fantastic, great job, but...
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Like, that's what gave me the chills, man.
Yeah, it kind of freaked Loopy and Elijah out because Loopy said that when Elijah told her, she was like, Mom, she was like, what? She's like, his face, she said it was as if he had seen a ghost. And he told her what his dad had called to tell him and how upset his dad was. And it's like they both knew her dream.
Have you ever had any dream like that? like a premonition, or what's it called? A pesadilla in Spanish?
Yeah.
I know I was
Um.
joking, call it a quesadilla, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I think the pesadilla is more of like a strong, like almost like a overcoming of your body. Like you can't move or anything in your dream. But I think the dreams that she has and the times that I've had them, I don't know if mine necessarily come in dreams, but the one time that I felt like I was being talked to or given a message through my dream was when, after Grandma died, I was dreaming that Bones was going to hurt us. Like, I had dreams after dreams that he was going to hurt somebody. Like, he was going to kill someone. And the crazy thing is that when we got the call about him committing suicide, I don't know how this is going to sound, but because my dreams were so strong, like they felt so real, that when I got that call, it was almost like a sense or feeling of relief, like he was not going to be able to hurt us. And I was sad that he had done what he had done, taken his own life.
Right.
But I strongly believe that he would have hurt somebody in the family, whether it be, and I honestly felt like it was my mom, but I don't know for sure. But I felt like he was going to hurt us or someone. And I remember thinking when they said that, wasn't like, oh, thank God. No, it was just like not my first thought. I guess what things kind of started to settle, like, after a day went by.
Right.
Not that they settled after a day, but
as a certain amount of time passed.
Right. I was like at ease,
I have to admit, I felt like he could have hurt somebody too. And I don't think I've allowed myself to get full closure over Bones' death because, when I was younger, I was really close with him. He was, my godfather, and we spent a lot of time together when I was really young. But as I got older, there were more things I discovered about him that I didn't really like.
Right.
And then, he began to change too as time went on, and I just didn't feel safe around him. Not like he was going to hurt me, but I just didn't feel. Well, I don't know. Let me take that back. There were times when I felt like maybe he could hurt me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I felt like he was in a weird competition with me and Chalo over strength or vitality or something. I don't know. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure over Grandma's affection.
Mm-hmm.
But I won that one hands down. Real easy. But to piggyback onto what you were saying about him hurting somebody, when we first got the call that he had shot himself, one of the first, I can't say for sure it was the first thought, but one of the first thoughts that ran through my mind was, it's a trap. Like, this is a trick to lure us over there.
I never thought that, but it is.
I mean, as it turned out, it wasn't. It was, it was something horrible.
Yeah.
And I've had dreams of him since then. And there was one dream I had where it was. Do you remember when Grandma had carpet in the kitchen?
Like a piece of the kitchen or all of the kitchen?
She had the entire kitchen carpeted, and I think it was Bones' idea. And it doesn't matter. That's not a main detail to it. It was just something that struck me as No, it was just a detail that struck me. Like, okay, I know what time frame this is, but it turns out it wasn't even the right time frame because Grandpa had already had his legs amputated at this point. I don't remember. I can't remember the dream that well now, but I think we were arguing over Grandpa. I don't think it was over Grandma. And again, this was just a dream. So I'm standing by the sink. Bones pulls a gun on me, and I turn around just like a stupid scene in a movie. I'm trying to be big man. I turn around, and I say, "Are you going to shoot me in the back, or are you going to be a man and wait till I turn around?" And before I get a chance to turn around, he shoots me in the back twice. Because,
oh my God.
Because I woke up immediately, And for a split second, I could not feel my legs, and it scared the hell out of me.
Oh my gosh.
This was, I don't know how much time had passed, but Bones was already dead. Grandma and Grandpa had already passed away. And I was still living on the corner.
That's crazy, guys.
Yeah. It scared the hell out of me. But it was just a dream.
I'm telling you, sometimes those dreams are like, feel so real. Literally, like you said, your legs. I mean, I don't know. So I think, I don't know. I just feel like there's I don't want to call it a supernatural power or a gift or a
curse.
Or a curse that I know for sure Loopy through her dreams, and I feel like mine is more so, like I said, I've had dreams, but mine is more so when I'm with people, whether it's the first time for me to meet them or be around them, or I'm around them forever, or whatever. I've been around them for a while, or they're known to me. I get these feelings, like these vibes, and I try not to focus too much on them because I'm like, you know what, I don't want to read this person or whatever. But I get, and I don't know what it is that I can feel it like this person may not be trustworthy, or
because I don't want to go on a supernatural tangent and say that it's some sort of gift, but it might just be a gut feeling. And I don't, yeah, an intuition for sure. So I would say don't ignore that, because I for a long time tried to say just in my head, like I would have a gut feeling about something and I would ignore it, or I would think that doesn't make sense. Let me do what I think is logical. And more often than not, if I had listened to my gut feeling, things would have worked out better for me. So I've made an effort to try and start listening to that gut feeling, especially when it's about people. I just feel like it's that feeling is there, whether it's something supernatural, whether it's something evolutionary, or what. It's something that you shouldn't ignore, because it's just like fear is something that is meant to keep us alive, because it keeps us from doing stupid shit. I feel like that feeling, that gut feeling, that intuition, whatever you want to call it, is there to help us also. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, and I agree. I don't say I try not to read too much into it. I guess when I said that, I meant like trying to figure it out, like to really figure that person out. Like, what is it?
Well, I mean, you're not going to go do research and do like a background check on them or something like that.
No.
So
I have to get like signed forms and permission with everything.
No, I mean, like if you have a gut feeling about something, don't ignore it. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm going to Facebook them. I'm going to Facebook stalk them and see what they're doing.
Well, see, that doesn't always work, because if that were the case, if somebody felt that way about me and they checked my Facebook, they wouldn't find that much information recently, because I hardly use it anymore. I've been using more Instagram and Twitter, but even then, I don't use social media that much, and I'm real measured about what I put on there.
Yeah, but I bet people could still more or less kind of
figure me out.
Not so much like you don't post pictures of alcohol or drinking or partying.
Well, I mean, there's some up there that I didn't post them, someone else did. From my yeah, but that was years ago. That's been probably 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
And you're a changed man.
Well, let's not make it out like I was some sort of raging alcoholic.
I know, I'm not. That was just a joke. Dum-dum. What I meant was,
I had a good time.
Yes.
And now I don't. I'm very boring. I live basically in my bedroom now since I got all my stuff moved in here. I haven't seen the light of day except through my window, and I'm actually thinking about closing the blinds. I'm just kidding.
I was like, cuz you need to see light.
Hey, I've been outside today. I went to Whataburger.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
Hey, can I change the subject slightly?
Yeah.
All right, so we were talking about dreams. Last weekend I had a dream that it's unusual for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had this dream. It was really cinematic. It was at night. There was like mist on the ground, and you could see like the lights coming from somewhere, like headlights and stuff like that. And it was in a wooded area, kind of like E.T. You know that scene in E.T. where they're looking for ET near the beginning and like
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So it's kind of like that, only warmer. There's a group of guys, including me, who are going to go hunting for something. Now I don't know what we were hunting for specifically, but I feel like it was either like a monster or like a bad person. We were going hunting for something that wasn't wild game, and my brother was there, and so was one of my bosses. And they took off together in a blazer or something. And I ran after it because I was like, I'm going to go with my brother. Whatever we're hunting, I want to be with him.
Right.
So I jump in and I'm in the back seat. My boss is driving, and Chalo's in the front passenger seat. And I got a gun and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, I don't hang out with my boss. And then I realized this is a dream. I realized while I was asleep that I was dreaming. So I started slapping my boss on the face, not hard, not like out of anger or anything, but just like giving a little tap on the face, saying, "Hey man, we shouldn't be driving. We could do anything. Let's fly." And I'm trying to change my dream from being in an SUV to being in an airplane flying through the sky. And I'm struggling and I'm struggling and nothing happens, but I know I'm in a dream, so I know that I could change this if I just knew how. And then I wake up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's only the second time that's ever happened to me that I was aware that I was dreaming while I was asleep. The first time, I dreamt that I was in my mom's driveway and a car jumped the curb and somehow flew over her fence. It was coming straight for me, but I was able to slow the dream down to kind of like a jerky motion to give me time to get out of the way. But I was so overwhelmed with my ability to control that dream that I didn't get out of the way.
Because that sounds like an imagination.
Because if I could figure out how to lucid dream, I could have some weird freaking dreams.
I think you could even like turn it into a business.
I don't know how I could do that, but I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you. I thought it was cool.
That is cool. It sounds kind of crazy, but cool.
Yeah, can you imagine if you could control your dreams? Listen, the fact that I've been and I wasn't even trying to, but the fact that I've been able to at least twice realize I was dreaming and try and take control, I feel like I'm on a good path to being able to control my dreams.
Yeah, because especially when you're having or when someone's having a pesadilla.
I don't know if
in those, it's like your body is paralyzed. Like you're mute. You can't speak. You can't.
See, when you're describing this to me, when you're describing right now, to me, I'm like, because I'm kind of a skeptic now, you know. As I get older, like I said, I become a little more conservative and more skeptical of things. You describe this, and I'm thinking, oh man, it must be just a sleep paralysis. They don't suffer from it fully, but occasionally they have it.
Well, I think I could see that being to some extent true or a valid point there, but what the dreams that go on while you're in that state are frightening. Like you are trying to get away from something or trying to save someone or trying to do something usually for your safety or protection or something, and you can't.
Okay, this still sounds like sleep paralysis.
A nightmare?
Do you
believe in science?
I do believe in science. But I'm also a man of God. And those two ideologies constantly battle inside of me because there are people who think that if you're one, you can't be the other. But I disagree. It's hard to find a balance.
I agree. I mean, I think you can.
But speaking of nightmare, because there's a documentary on Netflix that I want to recommend, and it's called The Nightmare. It's a documentary about sleep paralysis. And
is it scary?
It's called The Nightmare. It's a documentary.
Is it like Nightmare on Elm Street?
No. It's a documentary about people who suffer from sleep paralysis. And when I say suffer, like if you hear their stories, you realize these people are suffering when they sleep.
I'm going to watch it because I have Netflix in my room now.
Nice.
Because I think it's that time.
Already? I had one more story to tell.
Okay.
I went to get some groceries, and while I was at the store, I was like, I need to get a Mother's Day card because you know how important a card is to my mother for Mother's Day.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'm looking at the cards, and first of all, shame on Hallmark. I'm calling them out right now unless they want to sponsor this show, which I know is not going to happen. So I'm calling them out. Shame on Hallmark for hiking up the prices of specialty cards like Mother's Day cards. The first one I looked at, cuz, was a really nice card. It was bigger than a usual card, so it required extra postage. I turned it over, and the price on the back of it said $7.99. You don't sound as outraged as I am.
No, because all the cards I looked at were like $7.99 and up.
I was like, oh my goodness, I've already spent X amount of dollars on the gift for Mom, and now they want $8 for the card plus extra postage. I don't know what the extra postage is going to be. I'm going to have to put 2 stamps on this and hope that's enough and wait and see if it gets there.
That's maybe like a $12 card.
So I set it back down, and I'm looking through the other cards, and I see a couple other ones I look at, and their prices aren't $7.99, but they're still kind of expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a goof, I go over to the Spanish section, and I'm like, yeah, just like, it wouldn't be funny if I sent Mom a Spanish Mother's Day card. So I pick one up, and I start reading it, and I don't understand everything, but what I understand, I'm like, wow, this is actually really beautiful. It's kind of the sentiment I want to express. And then I turn it over, and I read the translation, and it's, it has everything in English. I'm like, wow, this is
perfect.
Yeah, this is really what I want, but it's in Spanish. And then I look at the price. I'm like, okay, that's actually a reasonable price. It was $5. It was $4.99. So I'm like, man, part of me feels like a cheapskate that I'm thinking about buying this card that's $3 cheaper than the first one I looked at. Also, I'm like, well, maybe I should embrace my Mexican heritage. And also, my mom is forever looking for a good deal on stuff. Maybe it's in the spirit of my mom for Mother's Day that I buy a card that's less expensive. So I got it.
I hope you bought it.
I bought it.
Oh, cool.
I bought it, yeah. I bought it, and I go to the checkout, and that's the first thing I put up there, and I put my other groceries behind it. And the girl at the checkout is Hispanic, and she gets the card. She says something to me in Spanish, but I didn't hear her. So I said, what was that? And then she says it again, and it was something like, saying something like hello or something like that in Spanish. And I responded, I was like, oh, bien de usted. And she said, do you not speak Spanish? I said, no, not really. I said, I can speak menu Spanish really well. And she's like, what's that? And I'm like, if I go into a restaurant and I order off the menu, I sound like I really know what I'm talking about. And she was laughing. She was like, oh, you mean food? I was like, yeah, food. And she said, why are you buying a Mother's Day card in Spanish if you don't speak Spanish? I said, well, my mother speaks Spanish really well. And I thought, like I just told you, I was like, I thought she would appreciate me embracing my heritage more. And she said, do you even know what this says? And I said, yeah, there's a translation on the back. And she started laughing at me. And she's like a high school teenage girl. And I felt so embarrassed, but I couldn't fight it. Everything she said was true. And then she says, well, you look like you don't speak Spanish. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? She said, you just look like you don't speak Spanish. I said, well, I speak a little bit, but not much. So I'm like,
racially profiling
totally.
you.
I got profiled by another Hispanic.
Well, and normally I don't buy a Mother's Day card.
Your mom doesn't get upset if you don't give her a card?
Yeah, I do buy a Mother's Day card. I didn't buy her a birthday card this year.
Did she get upset?
No, I don't think so.
Hey.
I haven't heard anything yet.
Well, all right. Well, she's at a certain age, so maybe she just doesn't remember.
So, Eric, stop talking about my mom. She remembers everything.
All right, let me just point this out. My birthday falls exactly 1 week after hers. My birthday's on April 20th. I got her birthday card that she sent to me. It was postmarked on May 3rd. That's not April 20th. That's not even near April 20th.
She said she had it set for 2 weeks.
I can believe it. And I wasn't, look, I appreciate the gift. I'm not trying to. I'm not.
Calling out my mama.
I'm not trying to say anything bad about the gift because I really appreciate it, and it's the thought that counts. I just thought it was
Right.
funny because, first of all, I don't celebrate my birthday. It's not a big
Right.
deal to me. So I just get a little uptight and nervous because of the people around me who insist on making a big deal about my birthday. So once I get past that, I'm like, okay, birthday's over. I don't have to worry about it for another year. So until I check my mail 2 weeks later, no, 2.5 weeks later, and I find a birthday card in there from your mom.
You're like, I don't like celebrating. This is another reminder to 2.5 weeks later.
And then I open it and money falls out. And then I'm like,
Let it rain.
Hey, that's really nice, but she didn't have to do that.
You know.
So then I went and spent the money on you. And then some.
I heard. I know.
And I can't wait to get it to you. It's going to be awesome.
Anyway, I think it's the time.
What time is that, cuz? It's time to say goodbye to the number 2 podcast where 2 cousins talk to each other and just jibber jabber and nothing real serious except for the suicidal talk and the lady who was naked pretty much in church today and she was a distraction and I thought about her in an unclean way. It's the number 2 podcast. Come on, cuz.
I said podcast.
No lyrics, number 2 pod.
There we go.
Number 2 podcast.
Number 2. No lyrics.
All right, cuz. It was good talking to you.
All right, cuz.
I'll see you sooner or later.
All right, cuz. Send me our show.
All right. Goodbye.
All right, bye.
Well, that was it. Number 2 podcast. Me and my number 2 cuz. Thanks for listening. Have a beautiful day.